Welcome everybody to a emergency broadcast tonight. The He's on Fire podcast. Welcome. We have a lot to talk about here. Some breaking news. Let's just bring Amit in. Amit, we have acquired Jordan Goodwin. Man, how are
I
you
know.
feeling?
I thought it was gonna be Archie Goodwin, bro.
You're right. Yeah, dude. Fucking go back. But all kidding aside, we have acquired Bradley Beal and Jordan Goodwin for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a handful of second round picks. I was at the lake. I had no reception for most of the day. And then when we kind of got close to the dock, I checked my phone just to see, everything's going okay back at home. And I saw the news and I couldn't stay in my seat. I was absolutely excited and stoked. What was your reaction to seeing the news on it?
I mean, I knew it was a possibility after the last couple of days. A lot of like just Twitter talk, talking points about it, and then I kept thinking like, does this really like, do we need to do this? Like, is it gonna mess up continuity? Blah blah blah, all these sort of things. And then especially with Kevin Durant's history with doing this in Brooklyn, and then I was like, nah, dude, this is Booker. This is something else. This is not that thing that and we'll get into it because I have a lot of haters
Seeing
texting
a
me
lot
about
of
this.
pace, and he goes off glass, and he gets it to go. Bradley.
Sorry, I'm just putting
Yeah,
on Bradley Beal highlights from this year, just since just to have it playing in the
yeah,
background.
and I did the same thing when we did the trade because I had to remember because I know he likes to go to the rim and finish, but the mid range game, the just
Yeah,
floaters
yeah,
and finger rolls and all those sorts of things. And man, dude, if the three of those guys aren't averaging like 22, 23 free throw attempts a game, then the league is totally rigged.
yeah. Let's just talk about the last few days of this whole Bradley Beal thing. So literally in a span of 48 hours, we went from us not being part of the conversations just because it didn't seem realistic. Then it went to Shams coming out and saying like, "Hey, like the finalists are Miami and Phoenix, and like there's already been offers in play." And all of us were talking. All the Suns media personalities, we were trying to figure out how this would work financially. It is kind of like irresponsible considering how much Bradley Beal is getting paid, but like yeah, you look at the whole picture of what's going on right now. Like his agent is like the brother or the son of the
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 Suns.
GM over there. There's a connection to begin with. Beal and Book have been close throughout the years. Like it just seemed a lot was kind of going in our favor to a certain degree, and like everyone was talking about it. Like Beal on, like everyone was like Beal on this team would be crazy, but no way it happens because Miami just has a better package. I feel like if Miami would have put in Tyler Hero, it would have made the offer a little hard to deny. But hey, the no trade clause, man. Bradley Beal
That's
wanted
what
to
it
come to
was. That's
Phoenix.
all what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
He
The
wanted to come
only
to
player.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
He, Kevin Durant talked highly about him, called him a Hall of Fame player previously. Obviously, we know Booker. I mean, Booker said it. He's like, I'm bringing the super team here.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere for super. And he did it, bro. He brought CP3 here, which led to this deal, and then on top of the Kevin Durant deal. So he's the one that brought. He legitimately did it. I mean, obviously James Jones did all the dirty work, but like, it's all because everyone wants to play with Booker. And why
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to play with Booker?
Right.
He's
It,
not
it,
selfish. And none of these guys are selfish.
like Book
Kevin,
is the
Kevin,
perfect one or two, So it's
yeah,
yeah.
and he could be either one, right? And that's the thing. Like he doesn't have a problem with that. Same with Kevin Durant. Bradley Beal had to play alongside John Wall, and I don't know. Did you watch any of those when they had those two guys? I mean, they were really
Yeah.
really good together, but the rest
Yeah.
of the team just didn't fit. And then when it got to playoffs, you know, John Wall he took over way too much, and he just wasn't that dude.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Oh shit, hang on. And coming to the stage, Coach Evan B. What is going on? Yeah, now we got the main crew here. Evan, do you hear us?
Absolutely. You guys hear me okay?
Yep,
Yep.
yep. We hear you all loud and clear. First reactions to seeing the news of Bradley Beal coming to Phoenix. What were they, man?
I mean, sorry, I was sharing everything. Everybody like and subscribe to the podcast and all that fun stuff. Please keep doing that.
Yes, yes.
Obviously we're about to have a hell of a season in front of us. I mean, initial reaction was just pure excitement. But before we get into that, what you guys were talking about when it comes to Bradley Beal and what he was with John Wall, like, I don't think of Bradley Beal the past 4-ish seasons. And what I mean by that is it wasn't meaningful basketball per se, right?
Exactly.
Last year was, I think he played 40 some odd games is the stat that I saw. But it was a tank year. The year before that, yeah, he did have an injury. But then the 2 seasons before that, they were like COVID years. John Wall getting hurt just completely derailed it. Russell Westbrook coming in, obviously is only a fit in the Clippers, it seems like, right? So you look at when Bradley Beal played with John Wall, and if I'm not mistaken, I wanted to look it up before I came on, but it was like game 6 or game 7, or a 6-game or 7-game series against the LeBron James led Cavaliers, and they took him to the brink. If you guys remember that, like, that was a dope series, and the Wizards were that next team, and you saw Wall and Beal together, and it was incredible, man. It was so much fun to watch. And then he turns into a 30-point scorer. Like, he still is that dude. I just want everybody to know he still is that guy. And I know that these names, Beal, Booker, Durant, that's a lot of sexy names, right? And that's a lot of salary cap. But when you have the ability to go get players that can create their own shot at a high percentage clip and that are bona fide all-stars in this league, you do it. I understand people freaking out about the fit not going together, but these are superstars. But also, here's the X factor about all these three superstars. Other than scoring titles and yada yada yada, all that stuff, what's the one common thread that these superstars have that other superstars sometimes do not?
No egos.
Bingo. These are 3 superstars with no egos.
Well,
And
I'll even take it a step further than that. Beyond that, like if you go back to Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie, those were 3 guys that needed the ball, and that, well, at least 2 of those guys needed the ball and really couldn't do anything outside of not having the ball. They could spot up and shoot, and Kyrie was a really good spot up shooter, but they all needed the ball in their hands. And yeah, like Harden, he would dish the ball. He was averaging 10 assists, working with those 2 guys, but ultimately, like, this is totally different. This is a scenario where if you have 2 of these guys off the ball in motion, there's like a million. It's like Dr. Strange sitting up there. There's like 10 million scenarios that can happen when they get the ball in terms of passing, shooting, or getting to the rim. Like, there's just ultimately. So like, this is not a 3-0. This isn't like those big threes where there's a big player like a Shaq and a Kobe and a someone else, or Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. This is like 3 guys at various heights with the ability to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Perfectly said. And the firepower that's going to bring, when we had Book and CP, we always had to stagger them, right? That was always, yeah. Now you can stagger one guy all the time. Like, all the time. You will always have somebody in there. And then you're going to sub in 2 other all-stars, right? One of them being 6'11". Just, it's just amazing that people find this trade like it's a bad move for Phoenix. I am stunned. Somebody brought up the comparison of when the Lakers added Karl Malone and Gary Payton to this, and I was
They went to the finals.
just like, I'm done.
They went to the finals, that team.
They went to
Like,
the
come on.
finals, and they were aging superstars on a 1-year deal, not potentially 2 to 4 years together.
Right.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, Carmelo blew his ACL like in the playoffs too, so he wasn't even there for the finals. If I remember right. But yeah, no, this is not even close to that. And dude, I mean, we all know, like, you're on Twitter, but I have friends that are New Orleans fans, Dallas fans, Lakers, obviously, all of them giving major hate. Not hate, but like, oh,
Good.
when does a super team work? And I'm like, almost all the time. Like, that's what we call them, super teams. That's where that comes from.
Yes.
You don't call it a super team unless they win a championship.
Isn't it good to finally have our turn, and it's at the very end? Is there some poetic justice to that, to a point? Like, this is going to be the last super team created due to salary cap stuff, and we get to do it.
Yeah, I'm so happy, dude.
We have 2 to 4, 3 to 5 years of this. And I mean, I'm just talking with KD. Beal could stay here for the next 6 to 8 years. Book is still only 26.
And Book
could be
even
here for another 10
he's on
years.
his max, he hasn't even hit his super max. He hits
Bro.
his super max after the next season. So, like, I mean, it's wild. It's wild where we're at right now. Because honestly, like, Booker is the center of this universe, right? For whatever the Suns do, and the fact that he can just continue to bring guys, like, let's say KD gets hurt, injured, leaves his contract, there's gonna be another player that wants to play with Book. It's just gonna continue. And now with Ishbia paying these players, paying the coaches, like, it's just it's the West Coast Heat in a way.
Yeah. And I'm for it. I'm for it.
Yeah.
The other thing that concerns me, or that doesn't concern me, is getting a bench. I mean, why are we worried about a bench right now? Like, doesn't that part just figure itself out as free agency and the draft progresses? Like, you don't think they have
it's
a
also
plan?
buyout. It's also a buyout market at the end towards trade deadline.
Oh, we're not going to be able to do that, though. Remember that if we're over one of the tax aprons, we cannot do that.
I think it's over the second, but I'm not sure if we go over the second until Book hits his supermax. I'm not a cap expert, so I don't know.
With it, how it's constructed right now, from what I read, we're like 6.7 million away from getting that second one. So no, we will not have that.
Okay. Either way, even if we don't, Denver ran it with 7 guys. They were high quality players, but they had 7 players. That's all you need.
Right.
You need 7 players who can play.
Right.
I want to acknowledge this real quick. Last season, after the Dallas Mavericks debacle, and we were talking about how we can shake up this team, and 2 players that we talked about we had John on, we had Jay Ness on. It was all 3 of us and Randy, Suns fan Randy, and we talked about 2 players that we can add to this team. It was Kevin Durant, and it was Bradley Beal. And yeah, y'all remember that?
You're
shit?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Yes, sir.
So it's just crazy how full circle this is now, and now we get another 30-point per game scorer. And the thing is, like, on JJ Redick's podcast, he talks about he does a lot of Batman like metaphors and analogies and stuff. Like, this guy's Batman, this guy's Robin, and then there's always the Alfred, and every championship team needs an Alfred. And you can draw a parallel to, like, the Milwaukee Bucks. I said on our TikTok, Drew, that Bradley Beal can be our Drew Holiday. He can be that missing piece that we needed, that scoring punch, that tenacity, that vet presence. Been there, done that sort of guy. He hasn't been in the playoffs for a few years, but dude, like, I know he's gonna bring it in the regular season. I know he hasn't played a full season in, like, literally forever, but I mean, whatever.
Oh, it's happening this year.
Yeah, it's happening this year. It's win or go home, dude. And we can't mess around. And now we have a full off season to mess with this roster. And why is everybody acting like we're not gonna like bring back like Jock and TJ Warren or Torrey Craig or like all these guys. Like I know we only have like 4 guys under contract right now, but we're at least getting 3 or 4 back from last year's roster. Probably
and
Josh.
there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that are going to want to play with this group. You know, like the Dante DiVincenzo that might want to swing it over. The way that the cap is structured now, like those mid-level guys, those like 10 to $20 million players, they're going to be like strapped because teams are going to want to spend to get 4 or 5 of those guys, right? They're going to want to spend the money on some superstar players. So I think there's going to be a lot more opportunity for under mid-level exception players that want to play with the Suns and willing to take a lower contract to do it for like a 1-year deal.
Check this from Westville. This is 100% accurate. That D grade was ridiculous. Like Chris Paul, who was out again in the playoffs, who didn't even play, a guy we can't depend on, aging superstar like no other. He gets traded for Landry Shamet, dude that can't shoot half the time and was getting lit up on defense, and we traded for an all-star. And you gave that a D.
Shit?
What?
You see that Bill Simmons shit?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I saw that. I mean, look, okay, if that's the case, like, what grade do you give like the Anthony Davis trade to the Lakers? Because that was, I mean, yeah, they won a chip, right? And they got to the Western Conference Finals this year. Maybe if he doesn't get hurt, maybe they go another year. Maybe they can go next year. But like, you do that trade. Like, what are you talking about? And this was like not even assets. These weren't assets. These were literally contracts that we gave up. That's it. Contracts. So like, if anywhere in the world you think that this isn't, even if any logical person, you can call it a B, a C, a D, whatever, but you'd say, yeah, you do the trade no matter what. You just do that trade. Like, there's no question that you don't do that trade. And the fact that it's even available to you at that point without giving up first-round picks, I think they did a couple of first-round swaps, but it doesn't, like, they're not going to swap with us because they're going to be in the lottery.
We traded for someone that wants to be here, that chose us.
Yeah.
Like that, there's a lot of onus on that too, that everyone's just like, I don't like the fit for Phoenix. Like, you sure? You talking about all these open 3-pointers from KD and Booker down the middle, and you got who'd we have last year shooting threes? Terrence Ross every once in a while, Ish Wainwright, Josh Okogie, and now you're passing it to Bradley Beal.
Yeah, wide open. Come on, in the corner. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Like, yeah, people can say, the fit, even if that was the true, right? Okay, so that Kevin Durant super team in Brooklyn, they were 14-7. They only played 17 games together. They're 14-3 in those 17 games, right? They just went one-on-one. Everyone took a turn. With this three, would you do one-on-one with this three versus like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum?
Exactly.
You know, like this is like, you can't get a better group of 3 guys that you would want them to just
with Kevin Young drawing up the plays, Amit. So it's not like we're going to see some crazy, weird offensive whatever scheme that's going to be coming in here. No, you're still going to be saying the same shit, yo. Do y'all remember Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges when they were in the corners and they just started getting the pump fake down and driving by and starting to create, and that's when everything opened up for Mikal? Yeah, this is that on steroids. He's going to be doing those things, except now he can pass back out to Booker and KD. Like, people don't understand and realize that all these defenses are going to be playing catch up every single time down the floor, you guys. That's the thing. These are all playmakers off the dribble too.
And good luck if you're putting your second defensive player on Booker, right? Because you're going to have to put your best one on KD.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 3.
Oh,
shit. Probably be the third best defender at this point. Yeah.
What if your best 2 defenders is your point guard and your 2 guard?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Who's going to go on KD then too?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just over. It's cooked. Then you're going to end up with like a Mason Plumlee or something on KD, and he's going to cook.
This is the most firepower for a big 3 I think we've ever seen. When I mean firepower, if you look at LeBron and Wade and Chris Bosh, was Chris Bosh a complete shell of himself when he got there because of the style of play? Yes. Yeah. Was LeBron and D Wade those dudes in their prime? Obviously. But firepower, Booker, Beal, Durant.
I would say that
all 3 of those guys are better shooters than D Wade and LeBron were.
For sure.
For sure.
The only thing I would say is a more explosive or a better offensively potentially is Steph, Clay, and KD. But that was a style, right? Like that was a style.
top two? Can we get top two?
Yeah, that's definitely top two.
Stephen, Clay, and Booker and Beal. I don't know, man. We're gonna find out. But also, that was KD in his prime before 30 years old too.
Yeah,
and plus Clay doesn't have like an offensive bag like Booker does. He just doesn't. So like that kind of.
And we're talking pure firepower, not talking defense, obviously. Pure firepower.
Yeah,
but then again, Clay lit it up.
At that time,
he had like 70 points with 9 dribbles or something.
Oh yeah, back then, yeah.
But also, have you guys done any homework on Jordan Goodwin?
Yeah, you want me to bring up highlights? I haven't pulled up.
Yeah, or send them to me. I got like super fast internet with upload speed. If you're,
yeah, I got you.
Your other ones seem to be lagging just a little bit. If you want to send me a link or anything, I can throw it up too. So it's not like we're trading, 3 players, 4 players for one. Also, we literally got 2 for 2. He will be on the roster next year probably. He's a low salary dude. I think I saw 1.8, 1.9. I haven't done much homework on Jordan Goodwin. I've seen a few highlights. He looks lengthy. I like him as a development piece, right? Between that 11 to 15 man on the roster. Hopefully we can sign Darius Baisley to that as well too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. Like I would, like honestly, the most of the guys that we have, I would run it back with those group because I think Torrey Craig is important for this team.
All of a sudden, Torrey Craig's super important, isn't he?
Yeah. But even before that, like when we had injuries during the season, like he was holding it down.
Yeah.
In multiple positions. I always like Jock because I think Jock can do something to Jokic that not a lot of other centers can do, which is like make him run the court and guard in the post. He's just forcing him to just move. So I love the idea of just bringing Jock back. I love the idea of bringing Busy back. There's obviously we have the Aiden possibility of trading that for pieces too, if we really needed to do that. But
we'll get into that, baby. Don't you worry.
But we have until the trade deadline to do that. We knew that before. Like we got to see what he can do with Frank Vogel, and then if he's not engaged, if he's not putting up the same level of defense, if he's not just kind of molding to these other guys, then we can move him for pieces. But they have to be playoff pieces.
So, here is the Phoenix Suns' newest member as well. See, these are all highlights I haven't even ever seen before. I'm watching these raw right now. I mean, this is definitely a guy we can develop, right?
Yeah. He has a quick first step.
Athletic, quick.
Yeah.
Something we didn't have last year was quickness.
Yeah. He's a combo guard, is what I was reading from most Wizards people. Yeah, shooting guard and point guard.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds right up our alley.
I mean, we'll see, dude. We'll see. Like we've seen these videos of like Dwayne Washington and Shamit and Baisley, and none of those, and even this guy's cousin potentially Archie Goodwin. Like they look good, but can they be consistent? So
yeah, we'll see.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, he's under contract, right? It's nothing. He's a team option. We can cut him at the end of the season. We can probably cut him during the season and lose the cap money, but it's nothing for Matt Ishbia. This dude's spending like wild.
So this guy, he averages 45% from the field, about 33 from 3, but he's only attempting 3 threes a game, and that's with the Wizards' offense that they don't put up a lot of shots. So
he looks like a heady player.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's not out of control. I like it.
He gets boards. He gets assists. Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Huh. So, getting that guy now puts us at 7 players. Is that what it is?
Yes.
I thought it was 6.
6
with Campaign, DeAndre Ayton, and then him. We still have the rights to Darius Baisley. I'd like to see us bring Darius Baisley back just for the fact that we have the rights to it. It's a lower contract. Another young guy. Let's put him at an 11 to 15 spot too.
I think he has potential to develop into something. You might as well, but and I think also it's probably good for continuity, and that's actually been my biggest concern with this whole thing is that are we going to have enough continuity to keep it together for the playoffs and moving forward in the playoffs. So, it's because we did the KD thing. We had 8 games, then we went to playoffs. We faced against the eventual champions. We won 2 games. Potentially, like if you had Bradley Beal other than Chris Paul, you might have won at least one more game. I think that game 2 where or any of those games like CP3 missed, but game 2 where I think he missed the second half of that game when Kevin Durant couldn't make shit, like just throw it to Beal, he can do something for you. So like, yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyways.
And he's more quickness, man. Another guy that had a quick first step. I mean, that was something we were missing drastically last year. Was our athleticism was way down.
Yeah, it was.
Defense fell off a cliff, and like people are also saying that Beal doesn't play defense. He hasn't had to in like 3-4 years. 90% of defense is effort, and I think he did the effort.
I feel like he knew with Frank Vogel being the coach and championship aspirations, he knows what he's getting into. These players know each other. They played with him on Team USA together. They all played together, right? They know each other. Guarantee you he plays defense better than a lot of people think he does too. Yeah. So we're going to be in for a surprise there. I'm really looking forward to Vogel and his staff, man. But we haven't talked about this staff either. This staff is going to be ridiculous. I'm really happy with all the names that they're putting around him. But DeAndre Ayton, that's kind of the next thing. You guys want to get to DA? You got any more thoughts on Beal real quick?
No, let's go to DA.
Yeah, DA.
What do y'all think? Is he staying or going?
We have to flip him now.
Right now, you think?
Yeah, right now. We can't wait till the deadline.
He's heating up.
I'm going trade deadline. I think you got to keep him around.
No.
I think
rejected.
I mean, it's a matter of you don't have like if you depending on what you get back, even if what you get back is somewhat defensively at a better or somewhat at the same level, like you don't know like what DA can provide offensively, especially with this team. Like I was watching Bradley Beal highlights, and he's finding Montrezl Harrell on so many like just pick and roll cuts and things. Like he's actually a really solid passer. Beal is. So maybe he's the guy that can unlock Aiden. I don't know. I thought KD could, but he just was disengaged. I think a lot of it had to do with Monty. So we have a new coach. Why not just see what happens?
There is.
You're sounding a little muffled, Amit. Are you hearing that too, JJ?
A little bit.
Yeah, he sounds just.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, that was better.
Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
Yeah. Like my thoughts is, Evan, I don't know if you can pull this up on your end real quick, but the 2023 free agencies center position and how many names are available. There's just too many names to kind of just look away from. There's at least 7 guys that I feel like would love to come here.
Boban.
Boban. Brooke. Even Dwight Powell. Like,
Naz Reid, y'all. Naz Reid.
And Naz Reid. Like, there are so many names on there that can be cheap and can provide just what we need is defensive rebounding. And DA's defense fell off a cliff this year. He looked lost a lot this year, and just point production just wasn't there. And
so let me ask you this question.
Right about Vogel and locking him, but I'd rather start that continuity early and not dig around the deadline.
That's why I think. Yeah. So that's why I think you keep Aiden just for the continuity factor. But the thing I was thinking is like if you're going into the season and you have like a minimum contract center going in with these 3 guys, is that make you confident? Because it doesn't make me confident.
Sorry, say that again. I'm trying to pull this up.
Yeah, I was saying if you go into the season, let's say you don't have DA, you're going in with like Jock or Bismack as your starting center. Do you feel confident with that?
Well, we have plenty of time to address the starting center position. I'm just saying, like, I'm not expecting equal value in a DA trade. I'm just not at this point because I feel like he tainted that pretty significantly, depending like how you view it. So, like, if we can get like a rotational player or 2, or at least 1 starter, I'm okay with that. And I don't think that's a lot to ask for. And it doesn't need to be like this high profile guy either. Just the money just needs to work at the end of the day.
Yeah. I just feel like in terms of if you're moving Aiden, the only deal that really makes sense is if you do that Indiana deal, right?
Yeah.
Miles Turner and was it McConnell or was it McConnell, right?
Depends what your preference is, McConnell or Heald. And Heald would be nice.
No.
But McConnell is probably the way to go.
For me, McConnell is the dude that can pester and be that swarm dude on defense when you only have like one star in, because when you got your firepower out, you're in foul trouble, injuries, whatever it may be, you need that dude that can slow down the other team and make it harder for them just to get into their rhythm. Like, look what Drew Holiday did. We couldn't even get into a damn shot or get the first pass off until the 14 to 13 second mark. The hustle that he brings as well too is something that I really want to see. He's not out of control. He plays a lot of games. He doesn't get injured a shitload. He was this past year. I love everything that TJ McConnell brings. It's just that defensive mentality. I love that. And but we're talking about centers. Let's go to centers first. We're talking about centers.
Yeah, even if they don't want to give us Miles Turner, like, I'm cool with getting another forward or sticks back and just having more depth in the big position.
I can see that too.
Yeah, like, just again, the money just needs to work, but there's just look at all these names, dude. Look, like Paul Reed, he had a great season.
Naz Reid or Paul Reed, sorry.
Paul Reed. Yeah. Paul Reed had a great season. Naz Reid, he's gonna be like the most sought after guy probably right now. Brooke might stay. I don't get.
I'll take Pirtle, by the way.
Yeah,
I'll take Mason Plumlee. You guys are going to laugh at me, but unfortunately, I had to watch a handful of Jazz games this year. I was actually really impressed with Kelly Olynyk, just for the simple fact that that's a dude that makes really strange plays in awkward ways, and he just makes it happen for whatever reason it is, and he can space the court and shoot the three. For a cheap option, I'm not mad at Kelly Olynyk. Stay away from Christian Wood. Vucevic, I think, is going to be way too expensive. I mean, we can get away with that. And then you got Jakob Poeltl, who I wouldn't mind bringing in. But none of the restricted free agents, I don't think we're going to go for, because that ties up our money for like up to 3 days too.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think so either.
And no to Dwight Powell.
And like, if we get a guy like Brooke or Porzingis, that provides a credible amount of spacing. And even with Naz Reid. So if you're looking for spacing, those are the three names to look out for. Mo Bamba is interesting, but I just haven't seen enough of him to really give into that. I would love Wendell Carter in a trade, but
What do you guys think about Aaron Baines coming back?
No, that ship has sailed, man. He hasn't played in the NBA in 2-3 seasons.
Well, he played the last season in the Australian League. He's now getting healthy. I think he's going to see some action.
Well, what kind of center do we need? Let's talk about that first, right? What kind of center do we need? Do we need like a high flying blocking type of center like a JaVale McGee? Do you need a guy that's going to be more low center of gravity like a Jock Landale, Dwight Powell? Or do you want a guy that can try to do a little bit of everything? But to me, offensively, I want to see a guy that can shoot the three. I want a guy that can space. I think that's very important.
If Ayton's not on this team, and I'm saying this without any knowledge of any scenarios, the guy that I'd want at my center is Bruce Brown, because he's played with KD in New York, in Brooklyn as a 5, and dominated at that position with bigger players guarding him. So that's a guy I would take. But there was also not an option.
I mean, you could still trade DA to Atlanta and get it John Collins or Mo Bamba, Clint Capella. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if you could trade DA for John Collins and Clint Capella. That's another fleece job right there. Holy hell. Yeah. Outside of that, I love Miles Turner. You guys know how I feel about him. Outside of that, kind of gets tough after there, right? Mm-hmm. I did see an interesting trade. It was... Oh, man, I'm trying to bring it up. Can't think of it in my head. If it pops up, I'll let you know. Shit.
Gambo keeps on hinting on Malcolm Brogdon as another guy that we can possibly get. He keeps on bringing him up. That's just something to look out for because Gambo is batting 1,000 this offseason so far. Like he's killing it. And
Man, could we get like Brogdon and Grant Williams from the Celtics? Could we get Brogdon and Marcus Smart for DA?
What I heard from the guys on the Timeline podcast, it was Marcus Smart and Al Horford for DA and some salary filler.
Yeah, that's Al Horford.
That's a good trade, dude.
We were supposed to get Al Horford. He was supposed to be our number 3 pick, but the Hawks jumped up and got that pick in the goddamn draft, and that was supposed to be our pick to pair next to Ayton or to Amari Stoudemire at the time. He was going to be the center next to Amari. That would have been the perfect center. We would have won a championship if we would have been able to draft him. Because we had the third best chance to get that, and then boom, fucking Atlanta gets it. We had like the 4th or 5th pick,
which is a long time ago, and we're talking about this guy now. So Al Horford's washed. I wouldn't want him on this team. Honestly, I would if we can get.
I wouldn't call him washed though.
Dude,
he provides.
He's not washed.
Dude.
He's over the hill right now.
He's nasty, man. Like
that's fine. If he gets switched, onto a perimeter player, he's done. 1-on-1. He cannot guard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No,
and he doesn't have lift on his offensive rebounds. Like he's just, I don't know. I've watched a lot of Celtics, and I'm not impressed with how he was good. Like the first time before he went to Philly.
Yeah.
And then he came back. Yeah, he's provided some good moments in the playoffs and stuff, but like you can expose him easily if you have enough athleticism.
For sure. No, I get that 100%. But like I'm looking for a center for spacing to take a couple threes a game, and it won't be a bad shot. Give me Brook, give me Porzingis. I don't get the Porzingis hate. I really don't. Besides the injury stuff, I get it. But dude, like he'll drive it in on you. He'll cross you up. I mean, it's a whole thing with Porzingis, and like if he wants to win a chip, this will probably be his best opportunity to on a minimum.
But he's gonna opt in his contract.
Who's
so? No, because if he opts out, he's not going to get the money. I mean, who's going to pay him? Like he's not going to get more than 20. I think he's making like 30 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Bring in Brook and Robin Lopez. Fuck it.
Yeah, I know. Bring Robin back.
Shit. Well, Brook, I'm pretty sure like he's like pretty important to what the Bucks do. I think the player that's probably on their way out there is probably Middleton.
Yeah.
Like I think Drew is important. Another thing is you could mix it up and say, okay, let me find a way to make a deal between Boston and the Bucks and the Suns where, we swap these players around and Drew ends up in Boston, Marcus Smart ends up in the Bucks, and then we get Brook Lopez. And then Aiden, I don't know, Aiden has to fit in there somewhere. He'd have to go somewhere. But
send him to Boston.
Yeah, and then we would take back maybe. And honestly, you guys mentioned Grant Williams. Fuck Grant. I would rather have Derek White than Grant Williams.
Yeah, I'll take Derek White over.
Oh yeah, I'll take that too. I don't think they would get rid of him.
Yeah. Derek White is too important for that team. A lot more than Grant Williams, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I want to bring up a couple names and bounce them off you guys now, because now that we have a more clear roster of like what we need. Obviously, Yuta Watanabe. He has been brought up a few times. 6'8" dude. He's 28 years old. In his 4th season. Let me bring up his stats real quick. When it comes to shooting, remember last 2 years he was in Toronto playing against us. 5.6 points per game, only playing 16 minutes. That's okay. I could see a dude like this getting 8 to 10 in a Cam Johnson role, but shot 44% from 3 last year. That's one that's been verified. But here are the ones I want to tell you guys about.
Corner 3 percentage is 51%.
Oh, that kind of does things to me when I think about that.
Yeah,
that's dope. Yeah, bring him in. And I'm not gonna say Dylan Brooks. Don't worry. Justin Holiday. He's a free agent.
I like Justin.
6'6" dude. Plays a lot of defense in his 9th season now. Got a feeling he probably wants to go out and win one. I like that one.
I prefer him. Honestly, when we did the deal, I was disappointed that it wasn't him and we got Aaron, to be honest with you.
I liked Aaron too.
But I think Justin's better because he's bigger.
Yeah, Justin's better. Yeah.
I do like Max Struss. I don't think that we're going to be able to give him what he wants financially, so that's obviously going to be a no. I was kind of playing with the idea of like a Wesley Matthews or potentially like Joe Ingles, but then I was like,
I'm done
no.
on West. I'm done on those guys. No.
Yep, I'm good. I'm 100% good on that. I keep coming back to Draymond Green. First off, if he declines,
I do
dude
too.
that has made a lot of money, can he come in and do some stuff for us? That's a guy offensively would be great. Defensively, he'd sure as hell help us, right? What are your thoughts on Dre?
He's a system guy, man. System guy. It'll be interesting. I really want to see him on another team to see how he plays with another team. But in that system, he made it work. I don't think he can be that player in any other place because the way that he was such a negative impact on his team in the moments that mattered the fucking most. I don't want that guy anywhere near my players.
I'll play devil's advocate here because the last time us three were on, I said, I didn't want Draymond on this team just because he's on like Steph's team, he gets away with all the bullshit, which I still think is true and very valid, and he won't get away with the same shit if he was to go to any other team, especially Phoenix. But Draymond Green in an actual defensive system could be huge. And then he rolls like crazy. He sets picks hard. He gets away with those moving screens. Gives Devin Booker and Kevin Durant some moving screens to work off of. Create all that space. Like they only need a second to get the shot up, and his cuts are like second to none for that position, man.
Quick passer.
And he's great with boxing out. He's a great passer. I shit on Draymond a lot, and he absolutely deserves it. But he would be insane on this team. Insane. But I don't want him doing the podcast if he's on the team. So.
Yeah, we'd kind of get that. I mean, we'd get a lot. People would fucking hate us. People would hate us, but they already do, right? So who cares? I love Draymond on it for the defensive side of everything, for the championship caliber, for what he brings. He obviously can get away with a lot with the refs. Does that mean Booker can too? Do we start getting some calls then? I'm really curious. We need to talk about at some point the refs and reffing this team too. Are we about to get some calls, or is everybody just going to hate us? Anyways, few more names I want to throw at you. Backup point guard, Reggie Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah, easily. I loved Reggie.
Okay.
I know the crazy part is he went to Denver and he didn't even play for them. They only played 7 guys.
Hey, death piece, man. Death piece. And if we still end up parting with campaign, like Reggie Jackson would be a nice plus.
Still
and this is where I think like the whole thing about like with the way the CBA is structured now is that I think Reggie Jackson's made all the money he can make at this point. I think he's in that veteran ring chaser status where it's just going to be minimum deals or like 2-year deals under below the mid-level exception. Like I just, I think he's a guy that we can easily get because he's one of those guys that overplayed their market in free agency and then end up getting screwed over, right? And so, like, how many guys do we see? And now, like I said, with the new CBA, I think that's all we're going to see is just, all these guys are going to be playing on minimum deals.
So Dennis Schroeder's obviously out there just because of his relationship with Vogel, right? So that's going to be a name we're going to hear a lot of. Here's one that we brought up a while ago. We all kind of agreed on, but I'm going to bring his name up again, and this is going to be an under the radar one. We could probably get him cheap. Trey Lyles.
Trey Lyles is a cheat code, and he was for Sacramento. You just forget that he's out there, and then he hits 4 threes on you in a quarter. Like, and he's a sneaky rebounder too. Like he's like a Larry Nance. Like he'll just like jump over you and just like snatch a board, and you don't even hear him coming.
I mean, like all these names are such an upgrade over campaign. Like it's so disrespectful to say those dudes. Like
it's an upgrade to like our entire roster, our depth,
Yeah.
right? The only dude I legit feel like we have to bring back is Torrey Craig. I want to see Josh Okogie, but I feel like we can get something else. Like
but if you're not getting Okogie, then you need somebody. You have to have somebody that has that on point defense.
Yeah,
point of attack, and we don't have anybody like that.
I have two other dudes that I like, Josh Hart and Will Barton.
I would love Josh Hart, dude.
Yeah, I mean Josh Hart, but like what he can't play point guard, right?
No,
like, so he's just
he can't. We're gonna have to get two of those guys. I mean, we're out of the Fred VanVleet talk, so that saves everybody from going crazy on that one. Yeah. I mean, you have to. That's why like Brogdon just makes too much sense at this point, and then you fill up with these other centers or a Trey Lyles, right? Like it's just that to me, we need a point guard more than we need. We need a quality point guard more than a quality center right now. You need to have both. You still need to have your rebounding and things like that, obviously, right? But for this team to succeed, ball pressure and guarding the ball, length on the perimeter, being able to distribute, I think Brogdon becomes very important to this team. I'm not saying he would be more important to DA. I'm seeing what this team needs is somebody they can depend on also, and we can't depend on DA. So you upgrade with Brogdon and Naz Reid or Brogdon and Miles Plumlee, Brook Lopez, whoever it may be. I think that's a better player than bringing in a Schroeder or whoever else or Reggie Jackson or Tyus Jones as our starting point guard with DA at our center. Does that make sense? That's what I meant in a roundabout fucking way. It's late on a Father's Day.
Well, no, I mean it's so. My logic here is that what you're saying, and I think what we're all saying is that, like we saw with Denver, they had like Aaron Gordon bringing the ball up, and initiating the offense. We saw with Miami, Bam was bringing the ball up. It doesn't really matter who brings the ball up. The point guard position at this point is really about because that person isn't going to set the table on offense. That person's really there to be open and make threes, and then defensively hold their own, right?
And to take pressure off the ball handler coming up, like so those guys don't have to worry about it coming up. They can just get in motion.
Yeah. Right. But like if you're not even like worried about that, like if you just want to have anybody bring the ball up because you're just gonna run some actions on the wing to set up the motion anyways. It doesn't matter who has the ball at the top of the key. It doesn't have to be the point guard. It just has to be someone that can make the right pass.
That's why the Marcus Smart thing makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't in favor of getting Marcus Smart before the Bradley Beal thing, but now it makes total sense. Point of attack and
Marcus Smart and Grant Williams. Marcus Smart and Derek White. They got assets. Or fuck it, we still go the free agency route and we recoup a couple picks.
Yeah, we could.
I'd love to get a first round pick back.
And pick up a Miles Plumlee just for a temporary thing,
Like no matter what, I feel like Ayton just has to go, man. We have to have somebody that we can depend on. And let's be real, if you see Beal and Booker and Durant going out there giving 30 apiece, and Ayton shows up with 8 after 11, 12 shots and 4 rebounds, bro, you can't have that. You can have 12 points and 4 rebounds if you're going crazy with a couple dunks and you're playing legit defense like a Naz Reid, or you can step out and shoot and you're playing hard. But we don't know what we're getting out of DA. And this is win or go home now. I can't have a player like DA on my team, y'all.
I can't.
The thing is, like, yeah, I can see a scenario where you can put him outside the lane and make him a threat from 3. But the problem is if he can't dribble to the rim, then it doesn't matter. Like, right? Like we're stuck. So yeah, I see what you're saying, but I also see like the defensive. I'm only looking at the defensive potential. Offensively, he's gonna get nothing. He's gonna get scraps with his group. So like that's really up to him.
So you got to get your points off of offensive rebounds, good
and running the court and having these guys finding you and fast breaks. Yes,
and running a pick and roll correctly, which he couldn't with the point guard. So
yeah,
and I mean another thing I've thought about too is if we trade Da in the situation and we just get regular like forward stuff back, like wings or whatnot, just something to surround the bench unit. What if we start Jock and we acquire Kevin Love at a minimum and have Kevin Love run with the bench unit, and then that's outlet passes. That's good transition stuff. I mean,
I want to say yes, but he looked unplayable these last 2 series. It looked like
he did get hurt, but I do see what you mean though. He did look a little iffy before he got hurt.
I mean,
he did have some moments though.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if he's still available and there's nothing else left, we could probably go for that, right? I feel like that would be that. But Flex had a good tweet. I think his last tweet of the day, and it said,
busy.
Yeah, he said, you guys don't think that they did all this and didn't have a plan to add other players?
I don't know why like these media people don't think we're gonna add anybody else. Like,
what do they think we're gonna do? Like, we're just gonna rock out with this? That's just, they have no depth. No shit. It's the off season. You go to any of these dudes' rosters, they only have 8 players right now. And by the way, Denver only won with 8 players. So we sign 4 or 5 more. All of a sudden, we just have the 8 we need.
And I would even take it further and say, like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, whatever you want to say about the rosters, but and you mentioned Denver, they have players that are available. Like Bruce Brown is available if he opts out. I think KCP is available if he opts out. So yeah, I mean
Does KCP
really
want to come play with Vogel again?
Of course
he wouldn't. That would be dope.
He probably wants to be a starter though.
He'll be
he could start a point guard. He could start a point guard.
We're taking a Kogi's place.
Yeah, I mean he could play. Yeah, he could play power forward. He could play starter.
Book could bring the ball up, give it to Beal. A Book will be at the 2, and then KCP would be, the 3, or you can put him down as a 4 and have KD as the 3.
Another couple options, real quick, before we keep going here. 2 other dudes that I was thinking of. Josh Richardson and Thomas Bryant is also a free agent center, along with Busy and Jock. And I got to be honest, I'd rather have Busy as my number 3 center again than Jock, because I just feel like there's more value in the free agent market that we could get over Jock at this point, which I love you, Jock, but it's just the way I feel. And if we were buddies, I might think differently. So give me a call. Let's hang out.
I don't know, man. Jock showed a lot of good moments last season, and he provides a lot of effort. And I agree with Biz being at the 3 position, but I don't want Jock to go lower than 2 or us letting him walk.
Yeah, I mean, to me, again, it goes back to the chemistry thing, because like we're throwing a lot of players together, first time playing together. We got to have some guys that have played, and Kevin Durant seems to have found chemistry with a few of these guys.
With Jock, he did with Jock. I'll say that for sure.
Jock, yes, yeah. So that's why I'm just like, we should have some continuity.
But if he can't space the floor, man, he was awful from 3.
He was awful in the beginning of the season, but he got better. He got decent towards the end.
A 2-3 limit, like if he's playing close to starter minutes, and I feel like Vogel is going to be cussing at him too. Like, don't be shooting that shit. Like, I swear to God.
So, you guys feel confident in James Jones, though? Let's talk about James. Everybody was down on James Jones, right? People were coming out, and Jody Oler said some things about him as well, too. I don't think he's that guy. He does not have a rabbit up his sleeve, and all of a sudden, boom. First off, it's amazing what you can do when you have money to play with and you're not strapped, right? So there's that. So if you're trying to judge him on what he was doing with Robert Sarver, you need to grade it on a curve a little bit, right? Now he has money and he can do these deals. And there wasn't anything that came in right away that said Matt Ishbia was the driving force behind this deal. Nothing like that came about.
No, I think we're going to find out later on that it was Bradley Beal that said, hey, I want to go there. And the Suns were like, James Jones looked at Ishbia and said, are you going to pay it? And he's like, fuck yeah. He's like,
James
let's
Jones
do
said,
it.
I got a couple second-round picks, Landry Shamet, and the
Yeah.
point god.
Like, are you gonna pay this tax? Are you going to pay it? And he said, "Fuck yeah, I'm paying it." That's what
Just
happened.
send the bill over. I'll take
Yeah.
care of it. But Ev and Amit, like, you think you can be in Phoenix at the home opener?
What is
I
that?
have
November?
I have a baby due October 1st, so nope.
Nope. Oh, okay. Shit.
Oh, that's my birthday.
No,
That's
that's
not,
right.
but that's not gonna happen because the second baby's always late, is early. So you're gonna be like 3 weeks early on that one.
It's a planned C-section as of right now.
Okay.
So
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Oh, that's cool.
Well, we'll figure it out. Meet somewhere in the middle. I mean, we're literally in a triangle, so we'll figure
We should do
something
it.
out.
We should do a 3-year rotation. 1 year we all go to Phoenix. 1 year we all go to Cali. 1 year you guys all come up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Salt Lake, so that'd be cool.
There we go. Either way, I will try and get out there and probably bring my son for a game while the wifey chills at home a little bit with the newborn. So I will try to make it out there some point for sure. I have to. I mean, when they come out here to Utah, I'm for sure going.
What is going on, Jay Ness? How you feeling, dude?
Isn't this awesome?
Yeah.
How you feeling, man?
So
And
I saw
the
a tweet.
Diamondbacks are good.
Not today, they weren't, but
Oh, no,
they've
not
been
today.
a lot of fun to follow.
The last
Okay,
two-
And the Dodgers lost anyway, so it's all good. But yeah, no,
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys. So I was telling when we were before the pod, I don't know if you caught any of the U.S. Open. That was freaking awesome. The U.S. Open was awesome.
Did not catch it
you,
today. I was busy.
Yeah, I caught it in the afternoon. I was at Dave and Buster's. They had it on, and then the U.S. team beat Canada in the final of the CONCACAF, which is freaking awesome. Now, if you guys know what happened in the Mexico game, stay classy, Mexico. By the way, you're trash all around. Your players and your fans, all of them are trash. That I'm just saying about the team. I'm not saying about any people. The freaking just the way that they represent themselves and when they're losing is just bad. And then the Suns pulled this off. It's Father's Day. This was awesome, man. This was an awesome day.
This was an awesome day. I don't know if anybody else has Juneteenth off tomorrow. I got Juneteenth off tomorrow as well, too. So that's why we're chilling. He's on Fire podcast late. Everybody hit the like button. Share this out. Let's just keep the party going here. I saw a tweet earlier that showed the aprons for everything. For if you were $1 million over, you'd have to pay like 2.2. If you were 5 million over, you'd have to pay like 12 or something. I'm trying to find that right now. I really wanted to share that with you guys because I think that's vital for this team. But I don't think we're going to go over as everybody thinks we are going to go over if we trade Ayton, because we're going to be able to get 2 more pieces. That's 8 roster spots. I'm curious if we traded our second round pick this year. I hope we didn't, just for the fact that that guy can be like our 15th guy on the bench. You guys are going to laugh. I still think Ish Wainwright should be our number 14 guy on the bench. Bring Ish back.
I'm cool with that.
And then you just need to sign like 4 or 5 dudes, and we're not going to be that much over. I think we're going to be just fine. Oh, Jay Ness says we're not going to be. Dude, he's gone. You just missed our whole spiel, my guy. You cannot have DA on this team right now. We are in win or go home mode. Period. What a fun day.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna stand on that Ayton Hill until we get to the deadline. I gotta see what happens over the next few months.
He might get unlocked. I have no idea. I want that to happen. I seriously do. I want Aiden to prevail, and like I want to see it. I want to see it for a full season. I want it, but like, dude, I just can't put my chips. All my chips on red, dude. I can't do it.
I know, and that's what it goes against everything I'm saying, right? Like I want to say we want to have the continuity with Ayton, but what you're saying makes sense too. Where let's start building some summer league games or not summer league, but summer practice with Miles Turner and whoever else the other piece is going to be, or whoever the center is going to be. Because if we do it at the trade deadline, that's a whole nother thing where we have to figure out. So like we shouldn't have to go through that. Either we stick with them or we trade them right now. You're right.
Yeah, man. This is gonna be crazy. Like every other thing that happens this summer. Like the only thing that would match this Bradley Beal thing to me is if we somehow pick up, Brooke Lopez on a minimum, and that would be the only thing remotely close to my excitement for this whole Beal thing, man. I just tagged Evan in this,
Yeah, you tagged me in this on Twitter. I just wanted to show this to everybody. We're watching Beal and Booker hoop already, or summer hoops before. These dudes have been playing together. I just got the comments. Yeah, now I like the Brooke Lopez idea.
I've been liking it, dude, ever since the season.
But he's gonna get more than the minimum. Like he's not gonna get a minimum deal.
I'll give him what's the minimum? What is it, like 10?
For him, I think it will probably be like $3 million, considering I think he was an all-star.
I'll give him 5 or 6.
Yeah, the mid-level, which I think starts at 4.5, but Milwaukee's gonna offer more. He's more important to Milwaukee than he is to us.
Milwaukee has a lot to do, man. Like, people wanted to grill us about all the shit we had to do. Milwaukee is tied hard with money. They have a lot of
and what's that going to look like without Chris Middleton now too, right? They just lost in the first round.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like Chris Middleton's always hurt. Like he's kind of like their CP3 at this point. They got to move off of him, get some other assets that can help them.
And the other thing that was bothering me about what a lot of people were saying was if one dude gets injured, if one guy gets injured, I mean, this could be a complete disaster. And I'm like, bro, you can say that about every single team. That's such a bad take. People have the worst takes when it comes to Phoenix Suns stuff, you guys.
It's crazy.
There is a case there, right? If you go back and look at Denver, right? Because we all were just like, come on, guys. Like, you guys got swept. What the hell are you talking about? What is Jamal Murray going to do in this playoff series? In that particular playoff series, DeAndre Ayton fucking D'd up that version of Jokic. That version of Joker is gone. Like, he's evolved into a whole nother player. So there's not really anybody that can guard him at this point.
Right.
But the fact that they were healthy this whole season is, at least in the playoffs, is pretty, remarkable considering. I mean, I think KCP missed a couple games, I think it was KCP missed a couple games for them. But otherwise, like, they were pretty much healthy the whole playoffs.
They rested players down the stretch and everything. Again, though,
yeah,
this is the most fraudulent NBA season in playoffs we have ever seen in the history of the NBA. Ever.
It was a sideshow. The whole thing was a sideshow, clown show, everything you can call it. Yeah.
I truly believe the age of everybody sitting out games, load managing, all that stuff, I feel like that's almost coming to an end now because it hindered fucking everybody. It hindered every single team.
Well, let me ask you this question, because this is actually an interesting stat. So I'm going to throw a stat out there, or I'm going to ask you guys. You can tell me ranking. Where do you think the Suns were with injured minutes or injured games for players in the season? Considering Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton,
probably first
Booker,
in the league.
We were 5th.
Who was first? Charlotte?
Probably. I don't remember the entire list, but yeah, there weren't a lot of playoff teams on that list. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, we were injured all year, and people don't talk about that. Yeah.
I mean, that's what cost Booker All NBA, All Star, a lot of stuff. It cost their team. It cost Mikal Bridges probably most improved player, or there's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things that messed up our season last year.
Y'all, real quick, yeah, Bill Simmons. I just want to reiterate. He said, "Does things change for the Suns this series if you replace Landry Shamet with Bradley Beal?" He said, "I don't think it does."
Well, first of all, Landry Shamet played like barely any minutes. We're talking about if Bradley Beal's there, he's taking over the Chris Paul and the Landry Shamet minutes. That's 2 players that didn't play. What's up, bro?
Jay Ness, what's going on, man? Welcome. How we doing? How we feeling on this Father's Day?
Man, I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm happy to be here with this trade information. As much as we went through late nights, the KD, the whole KD stuff beforehand, and then for that to come, full circle, and then now we talked about this CP3 stuff. We talked about this very, very intensely about how we love CP3. We love what he brings to the table, but it wasn't enough with what we already had on the team.
Right.
And bringing in Bradley Beal, having KD, and having Booker, you have 3 of the top 10 players in the NBA. Period.
I'd say Beal's a top 15. I feel you. Keep going though. Yeah.
All right, we can do
Keep
the top
cooking.
15. I can do it with the top 15. And the one thing that we had last year, or the one thing we were missing last year, was the hustle player, the extra dog. And Okogie was trying. There was spurts where he was doing what we needed him to do, but he just wasn't enough. He wasn't there yet. He was graduating into that person. And I think that next year Okogie is going to be huge with this squad. I don't know if he's going to start. I think we might go out and get another piece that will inevitably start for him. But I think with what we already have, what we're playing with, I hope we keep Terrence Ross. I hope we keep TJ Warren. And I hope we keep Biyombo. Outside of that, I can
Torrey
see a lot of
Craig.
things.
We're all on Torrey Craig.
I love Torrey Craig. But is Torrey going to play small forward? Because he can't play power forward on this team.
He's gonna be the backup forward spot, I guess. So like,
But
I mean,
Mitch-
I could see him being the first sub in.
Agreed. But he would have to play multiple positions then.
He does
fine,
already.
That's what he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he plays 1 through 5 anyway.
He
Or
kinda
not 1
does,
through
you're
5,
right.
but like
2 through 4.
yeah, 2 through 4. Yeah.
He was our third best player in that Clippers series too.
The only thing that worries me about this is literally we have 3 positions. We have 3 positions and we're stretching them out. We have a center. We have a small
Positionless
forward,
basketball, baby.
and that's what we're going at. But that also scares me at the same time, because the one thing that I think that we lacked once CP3 went down was the ball handling side of things. And
Yeah.
as much as I love Bill, as much as I love Booker, both of them can handle the ball. Neither one of them are the prototypical point guards you would want to lead a championship team. And I honestly think that Kevin Durant's going to be handling the ball a lot more than we predict.
Do we want?
Yeah, and that's not good. We saw what Brooklyn was, with KD handling the ball a lot, switching off between Harden and Kyrie, and I kind of see that similarities here with the setup. So I think Cam Payne will be on this team next year, and I think Cam Payne's position in this team is going to be way more important than it has been, because he's going to take a lot of ball handling minutes from these guys, in a sense of, if Bradley gets hot, I don't want him on a point guard. If Booker gets hot, I don't want him playing point guard. If
But
KD gets hot.
But isn't Cam Payne is a rhythm dude? Cam Payne is the guy that needs the ball in his hands, just
Correct.
popping off. He needs to hit those fuck you campaign threes, and he needs to take it to the hole and finish high off the glass, right? So he's a guy that like has to have the ball. It's not like he does a lot defensively. Now,
Mhm.
if we were to trade, let's hypothetically say we trade DA to Boston for Brogdon and whoever else, right? If Brogdon starting point guard, I suddenly like Cam Payne as our backup. I think there's a nice yin and yang there. If we can't trade anybody and we have to sign somebody else, if Reggie Jackson or if Dennis Schroeder have to be our starting point guard, I don't like Cam Payne as our backup point guard. I would rather go after a TJ McConnell in a trade, because you have to have a defined role. Then
We need defense at our point guard position. We've lacked defense at our point guard position for 5 to 6 years. And I think that every time we get to the nitty gritty, that's the spot that fucks us over. Excuse my
And
French.
No, you're good. But like what I mentioned a little earlier before you joined in, I heard on another podcast the possibility of trading DeAndre Ayton for Marcus Smart and Al Horford. I the like point of attack defense. Marcus Smart can get you 2 threes a game, and we don't have to rely on his 3-point shooting like Boston did. So like his like we're not going to be exploiting his limitations on the big on the big screen. It's just going to be defense and persistence, and that's what he can give us. And Horford, we know what he can do.
So let me ask you this, because now that you bring up Boston, it kind of puts me in a perspective of let's take KD out the picture for a moment.
Hold on, I got some new information. I just found something online. This is brand new information from the it was a Minnesota Timberwolves rep website. Listen to this word for word. So trading away Ayton earns the Suns some cap space and some assets. So who will the Suns pivot to in order to fill that void? We already know from a previous article on this topic that the Phoenix Suns have a bona fide interest in Minnesota Timberwolves backup center Naz Reid and attempted to acquire him at the 2022 trade deadline unsuccessfully.
So
That's
got
just another little piece of the information. Go
real quick. I'm gonna jump out. I gotta take care of some stuff before my son's got a soccer camp in the morning. Gotta get him ready for it. But happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day, fellas.
Fan today. Happy Juneteenth coming up tomorrow too. I wish I had the day off, but I gotta work. But I'll catch you guys on the flip.
See you, Ahmed.
Cheers.
Hey, Ahmed, it was great seeing you. I miss you guys. Great seeing you, man. Happy Father's Day.
All right. You too, Jay. Bye.
That's a weird one. That's a weird one, Evan. That's a weird one because we can't trade DeAndre for a backup, and that's
no, but you can trade him for like Grant Williams and Brogdon, and then you get Naz Reid as a free agent center. He's a free agent right now.
You're right. Okay.
We want Naz Reid. This is a Naz Reid podcast, man.
We stand Naz Reid.
No, I like Nas. Like, there's a few dudes out there that that are younger. Like, what's the dude's name? I think I brought him up a couple times. He plays for New York. The light skinned dude. He's a center.
Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson?
No, the other one.
Yeah, we talked about this last year too.
I never remember.
Forgot his name. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, JJ?
Yeah.
I really like dude. I really like him. He's a big dude. He reminds me of Dwight Powell when he first came in the league. Very just muscular.
Jericho Sims.
Yes.
Jericho.
Yes.
Jericho.
I like Sims. I think Sims would be a great a player off the bench for us.
But we all definitely agree that Busy needs to be that third center.
Yeah.
Busy needs to stay that third center. See, there's so many options you could go around here. There's so many things in play. You don't even know who's going to get cut and who's going to be traded and then cut, like Pat Beverly was, right? There's going to be 2 or 3 dudes that were traded and then cut right away and are free to sign with whoever. There's going to be so many things in play. But to me, when it comes down to it, when you about joined Don, I know Frank Vogel said defense starts at the center position. I know that. And I feel like there's definitely those dudes at the free agent list right now. But for this team to succeed, I feel like DeAndre Ayton, your starting center, and then having a starting point guard of Dennis Schroeder or whoever at that kind of caliber, Reggie Jackson, is less than if we trade DA for a Malcolm Brogdon and then you sign Naz Reid, Miles Plumlee, Brook Lopez. That is a better constructed roster than keeping DA. Or you trade Miles Turner and you get McConnell. I'm not sure about that one too.
So the only thing that I disagree with it, or not even disagree, it's not a disagreement. The only thing that I'm intrigued on is Roy Hibbert. Remember what Frank Vogel did to Roy Hibbert and what Roy Hibbert was before Frank Vogel got there? Roy Hibbert was supposed to be out the damn league. Roy Hibbert was a laughing stock in the NBA. Roy Hibbert couldn't keep up. He couldn't rebound. He couldn't box out well. He couldn't play defense well. He wasn't good on his feet. Frank Vogel got there, dude turned into an offensive machine. He was boxing out well.
And a defensive menace.
And a defensive menace. And that is intriguing because he does not have the athletic abilities naturally that DA has. He doesn't. He doesn't have any of that. And
But do we want to chance that with our championship window right now with a guy in DeAndre Ayton who you can't count on for a damn thing? You don't know what you're getting every day, and that's been my problem with him. That's why I was so high on Sabonis. It wasn't the fact that it was Domantas Sabonis. It was just for the simple fact you know what you got.
every
Game
time,
in and game out.
every single time. But DeAndre is like, listen, I love DeAndre Ayton. I'm so disappointed as a fan right now and what's been going on with his career. Watching, I live right here in Phoenix, and I watched DeAndre in high school. I've been to three or four of his games in high school, and then him to go to U of A and be able to watch every single game and see what he did to those guys, and then to see this, I'm like, there's something missing. There's something missing, and you know, being in Arizona, we had the Kyler Murray no effort stuff, and then we have the DeAndre Ayton wanting to play video games with Kyler type stuff.
But to your point of what you're trying to point out right now, all of a sudden, Kyler Murray is way more present on social media. You see him doing more things. He's in the building. Everybody's talking about him. He's talking about Gannon in the offense. Like, there is a world where I could see DeAndre Ayton working in a Frank Vogel system. I could see that multiverse happening. Shit. Does he want to stay here anymore? Does he want to keep on playing with Book? You know what I mean? Chris is gone, so he's not going to have Chris yapping at him. Monty's gone now, which it seems like, outside looking in, it seemed like the whole thing was Monty versus DA. That seemed like that it was the problem.
And McCall stepping in that one time fucked everything with him and DeAndre.
Which one are you talking about?
There was that time on the bench where McCall Bridges and DeAndre had a little bit of an exchange, and it wasn't huge because I don't think McCall reacts to stuff he's very docile.
Was that during the Dallas series?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was at Game 5.
Well, then in Game 7, Monty Williams goes over to DeAndre Ayton, clear as day in front of everybody. You quit on us.
Yep.
And if you want to take another step backward, like Gambo was saying, this beef started in the Milwaukee series, and I don't know one Suns fan that blames DeAndre Ayton for losing that series.
I blame Monty Williams.
Yeah, if you're gonna
blame the
anybody,
refs because DA couldn't do anything that series. DA was playing out of his fucking mind.
Dario Saric got hurt. Dario Saric got hurt. And
Torrey
Monty
Craig
Williams
got
couldn't make
hurt.
another. Yep, Torrey Craig got hurt, and Monty Williams could not figure it out. I blamed Monty Williams, and honestly, I love Monty Williams. I'm not trying to harp on him.
If
he doesn't
DA
make
could have
adjustments,
played defense and been able to do a little physical contact, Giannis would not have shot 27 free throws. He would have shot 13, and DeAndre Ayton would have stopped, I guarantee you, 50 to 60% of the shots that came that way.
That's the same Giannis that had a 32 free throw difference against us.
He was doubling our free throw count.
So that proves it was multiple things that screwed everything up.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna to JJ's point, none of us was saying it was DA, and if it was anybody specific, I would put it on Monty. It was the coaching.
Yeah.
We lost pieces and we never made an adjustment.
And my cop-out answer to not get into like the logistics of it all is like we got beat in death because Bobby Portis was hitting threes like out of nowhere.
Chris Middleton became prime Michael Jordan.
Same thing with Drew. Like
wasn't it TJ McCollum
points going into the playoffs, and all of a sudden he's scoring 25. You're like what are you supposed to do?
Didn't they have like TJ McConnell coming off the bench scoring like 12 or 15 points in like
they had Wes Matthews.
Who was the point guard? Somebody came off the bench and scored. Maybe it was Matthews, but somebody came off and had like 15 points in like 2 or 3 of the games.
Yeah, Dante DiVincenzo was hurt.
Yeah, he wasn't even.
I don't want to it doesn't matter. I don't want to rethink it.
No, man, but I'm hoping as an Arizona fan, I'm hoping DeAndre figures it out with Frank and we don't trade him, because if DeAndre can figure it out, he's still young, and sooner or later KD got to be gone within the next 3 to 4 years. No matter if we win championships or not, KD is gonna be gone within 3 to 4 years. So if we could keep Beal as our vet, Book as our middle, and DeAndre as our anchor coming up, bro, we're really building something that you've seen in Golden State or you've seen in, you know what I
So
mean? Like,
Pat Connington. Damn it, Coda Kid. That's right. Pat Connington.
there it goes.
That
Oh,
son of
did
a
I
bitch.
not say Pat? Oh, I must have said it in my head then.
I thought it was. I said what's his name, TJ, but it's Connaughton, some one of them.
Connell. Yeah, you were close. You were close. Isn't it kind of poetic? I said this earlier. We've had a lot of guests going in and out. Everybody hit the like button, share this out, subscribe, all that fun stuff. The CBA gets signed.
Yeah.
It's a completely new thing starting July 1st. Second tax apron. Everything prohibits super teams to happen from July 1st, 2023 on. We are the last team to be able to actually get a super team, and we got it in at the deadline, right? You're talking about 11:59. You hit send on the computer to send to your teacher to get your homework in, right? We did that with the deadline deal with KD, and we did it with Bradley Beal now, and with the whole roster structuring. Isn't it a little poetic justice that we were the ones that got to do that, and now all these other teams are now going to be capped to be able to pull something off in the next, however long Booker and Beal stay, shit, for the next 8 years, maybe?
Yeah, Beal is gonna last like longer than KD.
He's only 28 or 29, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me say
Yeah.
this. I was talking about this earlier, guys. Hats off to Matt. Hats the hell off to Matt.
I can't say anything more. I can't.
Dude, this is Mark Cuban all over again, guys. You remember what Mark Cuban did when he went to Dallas?
He's on fire.
He threw everything out.
Yeah.
He said, "Nah, listen, this ain't how it's supposed to operate. Watch this." And everybody was talking stuff about him. Oh, he's just bringing in money. He's just doing this. He's just doing that. He brought in Jason. He brought in Terry. He brought in Dirk was the man for him.
Michael Finley, Steve Nash.
Not
Let's keep going for a second. Anton Jameson, Antoine Walker, Eric Dampier was a big name. The Jet. And then he would get a couple of draft guys like Marquise Daniels and Josh Howard and things like that, and Devin Harris, you know? And then he would bring back other guys that could fucking play. Like, that's what they do. They spend money to bring new players in. They did it with Porzingis and trying to get another one next to Luka. Like, this is what they do.
And this Matt Ishbia,
Rajon Rondo with Dallas.
Cuban-like. He is Mark Cuban-like, because the only other owners that have came in and ruffled everything up the way he has is Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
He's the only one. How old was Mark when he came in? 35, 36?
He was young.
Oh,
was
shit.
young.
He could have been 31 for all I know. He was really young.
He might have
Ishbia's
been
like
30.
34?
I've heard the story a billion times, but I forget how old he was. But he was young when he got the Mavericks.
Really young. And, Ishbia is, let me just double check. Ishbia he's super young.
Was he like 40 something?
He was born. Ishbia 2020.
Yeah, they went after Monte Ellis. That's right.
Yep, they got Monty Ellis. He was born in 1980, so he's 42.
Yeah.
They went after Chandler Parsons,
Yeah,
DeAndre Jordan. They
right.
wanted him.
Chandler Parsons was smoking people for him. But he's a little bit older than Mark. I don't think he has as much money as Mark when he first came in. But what he's doing right now is very Mark Cuban-like. And all I can do is sit back and say, God, dude, I appreciate you. He's about to buy the Phoenix Coyotes and put them back at downtown. He's about to, there's so much stuff going on that Matt Ishbia is about to change what was going on in Phoenix Like the Cardinals better get their shit together.
I was gonna say he's gonna put a lot of pressure on the Cardinals when you see shit like this happening. I mean, same with the D-backs right now as well too. I mean,
Right?
I just for the record, I hope the D-backs don't blow their entire fucking AAA squad on a starting pitcher or a reliever or something like that before the trade deadline. That's like I don't want them to go down. In baseball, I don't want them to acquire stars for like a bunch of prospects. Like let's keep it this time. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's do another Diamondbacks thing some other time. We're talking about Suns
Before I
being
shut off the
kings of the
Diamondbacks,
NBA.
just remember, guys, we ain't even seen Chris Jones yet. We haven't even seen him.
Who?
Chris Jones. Andrew
Defensive
Jones'
tackle for the
son.
KC?
No, I'm talking about the Diamondbacks. Andrew Jones' son. We ain't even
Oh,
seen him yet. Just remember when he come back.
that's true.
But yeah, but to stay on the Suns, man, like I'm happy to have this conversation with you guys. I'm happy to because we were hurting. Me and you guys, we were hurting back in October and November. And when we were talking about the KD stuff and people were laughing in the comments, we ain't getting KD. You guys ain't. You know what I'm saying? And we were just like, wait, it's going to happen. Whether it happens right now or it's going to happen at the end of the season or it's going to happen at the trade deadline, we were very convinced.
It
And
just like we knew what we were talking about. You know,
right.
we can put two and two together. You know, and there was interest there, even if the trade didn't happen. Him putting in a request not only to be traded, but also putting Phoenix as his number one destination. That was good
And
enough
the
for me.
timing. And the timing.
Yeah, and the timing. Yeah.
So all of this leads to everybody wants to play with Devin
KD.
Booker. He is your, and I'm talking to the audience here. He is your favorite player's favorite player. Understand that right now. He was respected in the league at 24 when he ousted LeBron and the Lakers, and we went on that finals run.
Yeah.
People were wanting to pick him number one pick in the All-Star draft, KD picking him. And people want to do nothing but tear Devin Booker down. And now your favorite player's favorite player has his favorite players playing with him, joining him in Phoenix. And Devin Booker is about to go down as the most popular, best, dominant, everything, the best all-time Arizona sports athlete to ever set foot in the Valley.
He still got a little bit for Larry.
Larry didn't recruit like this, dude.
He didn't have to though. Larry had Anquan. Larry had Anquan when he was drafted.
Hey,
They didn't have to recruit.
Anquan KD.
He got
KD,
Edgerrin James here.
Yeah.
And Emmitt Smith, right? No, but one question I have for you two. There's a guy out there that has been petitioning to play with his best friend for a very long time. That guy is playing with another center that he
Karl
shouldn't be
Anthony
playing
Towns.
with. So what about that?
I'm
What
good on
about
Cat
DeAndre?
now.
I'm good on him, but in a realistic form, taking our fanship out of it, I honestly think that's another wild card possibility. Because then DeAndre can play power forward better than Cat to me.
See, like here's the thing. This is why this isn't a crazy idea for both sides, because I like Minnesota's locked in on Rudy. There's no way they get rid of him anytime soon. So I feel like they need to get rid of Cat. He cannot defend on the perimeter, and he's just lost his touch over there. And I think his tenure is just done there. So if we trade DA there, DA can play his natural 4 position, maybe even be better. Have Rudy at the center, and then now you have a big 3 with Ant, and then you can just kind of build around those 3. And then
I feel so sorry for Ant Edwards if that happens.
I know. But you bring then you have Jaden McDaniels too, which is another player too. But you send Cat here, and we just stick him on the center. Like he doesn't need to be switching, and he can just stay down in the block. He doesn't necessarily post good, but I mean he does have some spacing capability. But I don't know. I'm not too high on Cat, but I see like that trade working in favor of both teams.
Both
So
teams.
it's not a crazy thing. I definitely see Minnesota proposing that before we propose it. So
I agree with that too.
yeah.
And I also agree that I don't think the one thing that I'm scared about if we do go down that road is I think the Suns give up more of our future for that trade. And I'm going to tell you guys, like right now, that's the only thing that's been scaring me is that we're going so all in. If it doesn't work, are we going to be Washington next year?
I want to go out swinging. You commit to a full rebuild if it doesn't work. Fine. I'm cool with it. I'm cool.
It's different though, but we can't go to a full rebuild because we still got Booker at only 26 years old, and we got Bank right now. There is no such thing. Who's free agents next year now, right? You trade KD, you trade Beal. Somebody's gonna want one of those two players. Pennies on the dollar, maybe just for first round picks or whatever. Now you're freed of cap, and who's a free agent in 2 years? Joel Embiid.
Wait.
Who? Huh?
Literally everybody is a
who? Joel Embiid's gonna be a free agent. Like you got 2 years to figure this out. KD will be on. KD will be an expiring contract at that time. You can do whatever, waive him and stretch him, do whatever at that shit. Beal will have 2 more years left, and he'll be 31. Somebody will want a Bradley Beal left, right? So come on.
What about a Trojan?
What do you mean?
The only Trojan that matters.
Well, I was going to ask you about Draymond.
No, I'm talking about little mini Bron. We got 1 to 2 years for mini Bron.
Yeah.
Who's Mini Bron? I don't even know who you're talking about right now.
Bronny James.
Bronny James. Yeah. He just went to the Trojans. So I mean, you got 2 years. Let's say he plays through his sophomore year. You got KD at the end of that expiring, like you were talking. You got Bill with 2 years left. You got somebody around that 1 to 3 range. May want a KD for the end of it. May want a Bill for the end of it.
There's a lot of there's so many possibilities with this, but the fact that we have deep pockets makes everything possible.
Yes,
you can just go out and buy players again, man. You can Mark Cuban this shit together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's fun now.
It's cool.
Like now it's fun. Now it's fun. I still think we get Draymond Green somehow, some way. I really do.
I hope not.
I feel like we do somehow, some way. I want Naz Reid. I'm curious.
I want you to think about it, okay? I know he's a pain in the ass and he's a prick. I get it, but I'm on the same boat too. Like, I don't want him touching this team, but dude, his defense, his moving screens, he gets away with every time. Him creating that space for KD, Beal, and Book. His passing capability, his defensive switches, his rim rolling, his rebounding capability, his boxing out, that vet presence. He brings
all that sounds great. The whole time you're saying this, there's 2 players in the NBA I just don't ever want to have on my team and have to answer for anything that they have showing on ESPN, and that's Patrick fucking Beverly and Draymond fucking Green. I do not want to have to talk to you about that.
Let me pass one more trade scenario by you guys. It's already been there, but I want to revisit the Dallas Mavericks one now for JaVale McGee, Tim Hardaway Jr., and was it Josh Richardson?
For who?
I think it was Josh Green.
For Josh Green and a first-round pick for DeAndre Ayton.
I mean, depth-wise, that sounds great, but you didn't say anybody that can play that position.
Do they still want Dwight Powell?
He's a free agent.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's a free agent. But even Dwight Powell, man, like our issues, guys, with DeAndre Ayton was offense and aggression.
No, it was hustle and heart and consistency.
Well, offense and aggression.
Yeah.
Aggression. The hustle, the heart, it was about aggression. And because he wasn't dunking, he wasn't finishing tough at the rim. He wasn't doing those things that we would want our center to do. Dwight doesn't give me a solve for that. He doesn't give me a solution for that. He does the exact same things we have a problem with Ayton about. He does better on the boxing out and the rebounding side of the things.
feel like that's all
But
we need, though. I don't know.
I was gonna say that's all we
Yeah.
need.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we can
We
get
just
a center for cheap for just a couple things. Like, it's just defense and rebounding. I
the
don't give a fuck about the scoring. If you can catch an
exactly.
athlete, I'm fine, dude. I'm fine.
What did the Celtics do with the big three? Who did they have in there? Big Kendrick Perkins. He was perfect for them at that time. This is like his second year at that time. That was perfect.
But my point is, if DeAndre is only having to worry about defense and rebounding, I think he's gonna be okay.
But can you depend on him to do that?
He does
I
stay
think
healthy, though.
that part, and I think Kevin Durant will smack the shit out of him. So I think he's gonna get.
Can he
something
handle
done.
it? He's soft, man.
Then
Can
is
he?
it
Is he
Monty
gonna cry?
2.0? Like
Monty was
trust me,
calling him a child or something.
all
Yeah,
of us
man.
here want DeAndre Ayton to thrive here, and he just needs to. And he needs to be part of team events. He needs to be in those team photos, hanging out at Booker's house. He needs to just be, like it's huge.
You're
dude.
right.
Like, it's
You're
so
right.
weird. It's like I get, like, he has a young kid at home. He has a wife and all this stuff. So has these other guys on the team and stuff. Not necessarily Booker and KD, but like everybody else. It's just like he needs, like, if he's gonna stay on this team, he needs to be dialed in, and he needs to bring it
Involved.
4 out of 5 games on a consistent.
And you ain't gonna be involved now, homie. You're not. You've proven that you can't be, and you need to be okay with that. But he's also making $30 million to do that. And honestly, if you guys were DeAndre Ayton, wouldn't you want to go somewhere else where you know you can still develop offensively, where you know you don't have to put up a shit and you get a fresh start? I don't know if I could stay here anymore.
I mean, there's three things you want out of your NBA career: longevity, a ring, and some money. He got the ring.
He has the
JJ
money.
just said he doesn't get hurt. I mean, no, he got the money. My bad. He got the money. Like we talked about the longevity thing, I think he got that down. He doesn't get hurt very often. The only thing that else out of that would be the ring if you really love basketball. So, looking at that standpoint, this is the best spot for you.
I don't know
not
if
the
he loves
best side.
basketball, though. I don't know if he loves it, dude. I don't
part.
know. I don't
That
know
part.
if he loves it. See, like, DA, if you're watching, we want you to start here. We want you to dial in if you're gonna end up staying. If you leave, I'm gonna be cheering from you from a distance. Okay.
Right.
You always have my love. He's my age. I want to see him thrive, but it's it's hard, man. We want the best for you. We do. And
Suns
we
over
want it
8,
here.
but we're cheering.
We want our number 1 pick to get us a ring, and that almost happened at 21. But Monty had to be a prick, so that isn't you. So
Last thing, I gotta get out of here unless you guys want to go a little longer, but I gotta dip. Somebody posted this. There was a podcast earlier. I guess it's called Game Theory. Sam Vecini. I've never heard of him before, but Zona Hoops. Everybody knows Zona Hoops on there. He tweeted this out, but the little tag on their video, I'm gonna watch it now. It's about 8 minutes, and I just retweeted it too. It said, talked a bunch about Bradley Beal with the Phoenix Suns on the podcast today. At the box and 1_. Think a lot of people are overthinking how awesome point Devin Booker is, and
yes.
B, this is the fun part, the trickle down effect of Bradley Beal not being the number 1 option anymore.
He can be Robin again. That's what he fucking thrived being with John Wall when he was actually really good.
Not even Robin, motherfucker's like Alfred now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's straight up Alfred. Yeah, that's what I was saying with that whole Drew Holiday thing. Like on JJ Redick's podcast, he talks about you need an Alfred on the team. Bradley Beal can be that Alfred.
When I look through the really good teams that won championships, you had Kobe and Shaq, but they had Rick, or they had Derek, or they had Horry. You had Jordan and Pippen, but they had Horace, or they had Rodman, or they had
BJ Armstrong, Paxson, Steve Kerr. Yeah.
Bill Cartwright. You can go through. The Warriors had Steph and Clay, but they also had Draymond. Same thing, like you pointed out
Andrew
earlier
Wiggins, Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
with Boston. Same thing, Kevin. So I think at the end of the day, like you guys are saying, he's going to be our Alfred. but I think we're going to get something else out of him that we haven't seen yet. Just like Ray Allen changed his whole game around when he got to a championship team. He completely changed around. And
Rasheed Wallace completely changed when he went to the Pistons.
To Detroit, yeah.
He changed. The Pistons played the same. He changed, but offered that like outside shooting and a couple different things defensively. Yeah.
And I think that's what we're about to witness. We're about to witness something that I don't know who it is though. I don't know if it's going to be Bradley. I think it's going to be KD. I think it's going to be KD changing. And I think we saw a little bit of that towards the end of that last series.
There's a world I could see every one of these dudes averaging 24 a game.
Shit.
23 a game.
75 through the third quarter.
It's gonna be that Sacramento Clippers game that happened last year. It was like 170 to 175 fucking game. I mean, but it's gonna be like 175 to like 100 or something.
We just got so much more athletic over Chris Paul. How much more athletic did we just get? Just from a pure athlete standpoint.
So, quick question.
Sheesh.
That 1 year hold off for the trade, is that already in effect, or is that a July 1st thing as well?
For DeAndre Ayton?
No. So the CBA, because remember they signed that new CBA, and one of the things in there was if you trade a player, because they were trying to stop teams trading players to another team and then them getting cut and coming back to the same team. So they put that whole, if you trade a player, they have to wait 12 months before they're able to come back to that team.
So I read two things today about that. This is what has to happen. There's a potential that Washington could now trade him to the Clippers or be a part of a 3-team, right? So, for example, if he's over there and then that team releases him, we can't do anything about it. If he goes to another team and gets released, then we can go about it. But
because it got traded, like, okay.
You can't.
I really think Chris Paul wants to be here.
Maybe.
I really do.
Probably. I don't want him, though. I'm sorry. I can't depend on him at fucking all. I
want him off the bench. I really want him off the bench. I want him playing fourth quarter minutes only. I want him in the playoffs only in crucial situations. Like, Chris Paul is great for what Chris Paul is great for.
Yeah.
It's
in
just
spurts.
Right.
And you have to hope and pray, and then you have to cross your fingers. I would prefer to go get a younger dude like Malcolm Brogdon and have him play all these minutes and get all this repertoire together with his team and go from there. You can't rely on Chris Paul, man. We know that you can't rely on him even if it's for 12 to 18 minutes.
I don't know, man.
And the athleticism, man, the slowness of it. We needed to get out and pace and go do some more things. Booker's going to start playing quicker now, I bet, too. We just needed to get out. And we can't have a slow dude like Ayton and a slow dude like Chris Paul still. We need to get out.
Do you think this had to do with the last portion of the playoffs to where Booker was going off?
Yes.
Was moving fast?
If we had a third that played decent, we'd probably take that Series 7.
Yeah.
Like
minimum.
Shit,
we were about to do it with a healthy Chris Paul. So you get somebody else that's playing just as fast and can pop off just as much as Book can. I mean, for the past 3 or 4 years, he's averaged 30+ points. He's averaged more than Devin Booker. He has more experience putting the ball in the hole.
Didn't he have like one of the top 3 playoff performances this last year as far as scoring wise?
Book? Yeah.
Probably been him. Yeah.
I think it's like
you mean Book, yeah.
Yeah. His scoring average was like top 2 or top 3 of all time for playoffs.
Yeah, like Jokic got into like the top 5 towards the end. But when it comes to shooting percentage and true shooting, yeah, Book entered that conversation. In a couple games, actually.
Is Ricky Rubio a free agent?
He's still dealing with that ACL thing.
Well, let's not talk about Ricky Rubio.
Rubio as a backup would be dope, but
as a backup, shit. If we're gonna go that route, I don't want Ricky Rubio. Let's go to Miami, or no, he ain't even in Miami no more. But where's Dragic at?
Dragic was in Chicago, but he's a free agent this year.
I'd love to have Dragic as a backup.
I don't know.
We need to have players. I think now more than ever, given our 3 stars.
I'll take anybody.
Thank you, by the way. Given our 3 stars, we need players that can fit defined roles no matter what. I think that's the gist of this conversation that I've gotten around. Like, we need players that can fit specific roles. If you're TJ McConnell, you know what he's going to provide. If it's another name that I like that you weren't here for, Jay Ness, I said Trey Lyles. He's a free agent power forward. I love Trey Lyles. But again, a guy that knows exactly what he's about to do, right? You need those dudes now more than ever. Fellas, I got to get going and wrap up. It's been an almost 2-hour pod, Jay Ness. It's always good to talk to you, man. I'm so glad we got to do so again.
Thank you, man.
Been too long. We'll keep it going. Diamondbacks are kicking ass. USA just beat Canada today. It's going to be a good couple weeks in Phoenix Suns free agent, trade, draft day talk. And then we got the All-Star game for MLB. And then shortly after that, we got the Cardinals coming up and we got Arizona State football, which I'm really pumped about. Like, all of a sudden, the dog days of summer have become, man, what's next?
Right.
This feels like that like we were talking about the October, November area of last year, man, when so much stuff was popping up and we were so excited, but now it's actually rolling.
It's just filler now. It's just filler.
At the end of August, don't forget Team USA and FIBA, and we get to see the Twins play in FIBA.
I will be in
Vegas.
Vegas.
For the Twins again.
I will be in Vegas covering the USA event, that whole stuff. So
that's cool.
We can get some live footage and some interviews and some stuff.
I know a lot of people in the USA NGB community, the NGB National Governing Body community. So maybe I can get some tickets to go do something like that because it ain't too far away. That would be dope. But I'm looking forward. There's a lot of good things this summer, you guys. So sports are good. Everybody is good. Happy Father's Day. Jay Ness, special guest. Leave us off with a little something. What do you got?
I just would like to take the time to, first of all, thank you guys. Been some of my favorite people that I've encountered doing what I've been doing.
He's on fire!
Appreciate you guys letting me on again. Happy Father's Day to the both of you.
You too, bro.
And the smiles, man. We're all 3 fucking smiling, bro.
It's been about a year, 13 months since we lost Game 7 to Dallas. Since we've been able to do this,
it's been rough, man. And for us 3, with Amit too involved, we've gone through a lot, ups and downs together, and I'm just excited, man. I want to see us successful. I'm just happy we can smile and look forward to progressiveness and going back to where we were, losing to the Bucks. That's what I'm on, the Bucks.
Yeah.
Shit, bring them on this season too.
Yeah. I want the Bucks.
I want all the smoke. Bring it on. I can't wait to play Dallas. Oh, I can't wait to play Dallas. I can't wait to beat Denver now. Because you know what happens after you make your first championship run? It ain't as special the next time. It's harder. Everybody's gunning for you. You've played a long time. You know, now you're probably tired, and I'm ready. JJ, what do you got for us before we head out?
Man, what a time to be an Arizona sports fan, man. The Cardinals are in a committed rebuild, some sort of direction, the first time in half a decade. The Diamondbacks looking like one of the better teams in the league. And
first time in half a decade.
Yeah, in over half a decade. And then the Phoenix Suns still in the mix after every year since 2020 of people saying our window is closed, and we continue to open it and broaden it. And we're just coming back stronger this upcoming year, and people are going to be gunning for us. And we have to take this, bite the bullet, and go our hardest and not fuck around, man. Like this is our opportunity here. And health and luck are the biggest things, but we have to stay composed. And I think Frank Vogel and the rest of the coaching staff can put us over. So I'm really looking forward to this next sports year. It's going to be huge. And, us covering mostly Phoenix Suns going forward. I mean, like, all eyes on this team going forward, man.
Well said. And I'm going to say one thing. Everybody's going to be talking even more shit about the Suns.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be saying more and more and more. Lakers clear them. Nets this, Denver that, Denver in 5, Denver in 4. Man, just bookmark it. We don't need to say shit. Matt Ishbia is doing it for us with his pocketbook. Just bookmark, man.
Bro's taking pushes on the sideline, bro. He won us a playoff game.
Hey, he was really
around, dog.
him getting in there with Jokic of all the people in the NBA. I'm like, dude is really with it. He really loves this team.
He ain't fucking around, man.
He ain't fucking around. Just wait till we sign Bob Myers in like a month. At the end of July, randomly, we'll sign Bob Myers from the Warriors, and he'll throw all this money at him because he don't care. Yeah. Watch that happen too. What a good time in sports. Not going to play the outro. We're just going to get out of here. He's on Fire Podcast. Like, subscribe, all that shit. Go Suns. Cheers.
See ya, y'all.